Highest package from IIM Ahmedabad under operations role is 35 lakhs. Great salary. But if your comparison benchmark is the highest salary and you compare it against consulting or finance role, then it doesn't look so fancy. And that's why operations is that invisible kid of the MBA family. It's that silent kid in the corporate which sits at the back, doesn't get a lot of visibility, but once it leaves, things go haywire. It's a very strategic role, very recession proof as well. However, it's also a kind of specialization that if you do it for the wrong reasons, it can absolutely destroy your career. And that's why in this video we discuss the different roles under operations, the companies hiring, the salary, who should do it, and how safe is it from AI. So what exactly is operations? First, let me tell you a story here that explains the utility of operations better than any textbook would. Apple in 1998 was just 90 days away from bankruptcy. Steve Jobs had returned to Apple just last year. Their product line was a mess, 350 different products lying idle, doing nothing. And that's when Steve Jobs hired a guy from Compaq. He was not a designer, not a sales or marketing person, not a product guy. His job description was very simple: to fix the mess that is there at Apple while Steve Jobs goes around doing his work. And that guy was none other than Tim Cook. When he joined, Apple had an inventory turnover of 30 days, which means 30 days worth of stock lying idle, doing nothing, wasting your money. And that's where he brought it down to 6 days, later slashed it down to just 2 days. He shut down multiple warehouses, outsourced manufacturing, and reduced the air freight costs such that the magic worked. And the next CEO of Apple is not that finance guy or the marketing guy or the product guy, it's the operations guy, Tim Cook. He did nothing that the customers could see from outside, but internally he saved the company. Coming back, most people think working in operations means working in that Maruti Suzuki plant or Amazon fulfillment center. While it's partly true, but it's massive generalization. It's a very small part of it. Today, operations has moved from factory floors to algorithms. So the one-line definition is operation is that function that takes the inputs, it can be in the form of raw materials, time, labor, money, and then converts it into finished outcomes that the customer actually pays for. And that finished outcome can be a product or a service. Operations is basically the engine of your business. Now let's come to the part that everyone has been waiting for, the money part of it. And let me be brutally honest over here. As an operations guy, your salary will not be equal to your consulting and investment banking friends. Investment banking, consulting, starting salary, they are very high. And even in the long run, those friends who stick with consulting and IB roles, they will definitely be earning much higher. However, the difference is that there will be very few friends who will actually stick with consulting and investment banking. One, because of the work life, and second, because they have a very stringent up or out policy. If you're not able to perform in consulting investment banking, you will be thrown out very fast as well. And in that way, operations gives much more job satisfaction, better work life, and a predictable career. But yes, pay wise, it's definitely not one of the best. It depends on the company as well. For example, you can see this JD, this particular company came to IIM Ahmedabad. It was a startup and the pay is really low if you compare it to the other salaries at IIM Ahmedabad. I don't think any student actually ended up in this company because it comes under day 3. No one is really excited about the salary as well. But the thing is, the salaries can go low in some of the companies. This is a typical JD that came along with this particular salary, and again, pretty ambiguous. A lot of things. It's like you are responsible for everything in the business. But yes, there are many other companies as well that offer good salaries to operations people, and let's discuss the companies hiring in India. So the first ones offering great salaries are the conglomerates and the FMCG companies: Hindustan Unilever, P&G, ITC, Mahindra, Tata Group, Aditya Birla Group, and all those big giants, Reliance as well. So those are the traditional ones. After that, the e-commerce giants as well, Amazon, Flipkart, they pay really well. After that, the quick commerce boom that has opened so many roles: Zepto, Blinkit, Swiggy, Instamart, so many of them. After that, the consulting firms, they also need operations people: McKinsey, Bain, BCG, all the types of consulting firms, Accenture, AT Kearney, all of them need operations people as well. Next, there are logistics companies like Delivery, Ecom Express, FedEx, DTDC, the likes of them. And one very upcoming roles are in global capability centers. So what happens is, US companies, they come and establish their GCCs or global capability centers in India, the likes of Walmart, Target, and Mercedes kind of companies, and they need operations talent badly in India for these global capability centers. Next, we'll go to some of the roles that you can get under operations. But before I go there, let me tell you about the partners of this video, and it will be really useful for those people who want to do their MBA and get into roles like operations, especially if you're a working professional and do not want to leave your job, want to do an online MBA, then you have to be very careful about the kind of universities you choose, because that needs to be government approved. And that is where the partners of this video come in very handy, where you can compare different colleges for absolutely free and choose the government approved universities only, and that is College Vidya. It's a free platform where only the UGC approved online universities are listed for you to search and compare. Here you get UG, PG, executive MBA, doctorate and job guarantee programs and a lot of other things too. आप 100 plus online universities compare कर सकते हो across 30 plus factors like fees, placements, rankings, course content, EMI options, all in 2 minutes for absolutely free. You can also avail free expert career counseling for selecting the best program according to your profile. And post admission, you get placement support worth rupees 5999 for absolutely free. Job and internship portal access, alumni connect, and free webinars are also there. You can also get the College Vidya Assured feature where the counselors can help you get refund from the university in case you are not satisfied. So there is complete protection too. So currently you are also getting a subsidy of up to rupees 20,000. You can avail it from the link in the description. Next, coming to the roles, and we start with supply chain managers, and they are the OG of operations. So you're literally strategizing everything about moving goods from here to there. You are forecasting how much demand can come for your products. On the basis of that, how much raw materials need to be ordered and at what time. You're also strategizing how the products will reach the customer from your factory. So all of this comes under supply chain manager. You are literally responsible for strategizing everything, and all the FMCG companies hire for this role. Hindustan Unilever, Nestle, ITC, P&G, everyone hires for it. And from a top tier college, the average salary offered is around 30 lakhs. Even if you are from a tier 2 college, for this kind of a role, you will get upwards of 15 lakh salary. Next, logistics manager. If supply chain is a strategy, then logistics is the execution part of it. If the supply chain manager says that we are going to get demand from these 4 cities, then as logistics manager, your job is to understand where should I exactly place the warehouse such that the delivery cost is minimized. At the same time, if the supply chain manager says that on 20th day we are going to get an order from a man in Faridabad, then logistics job is to make sure that when should I release that material from my factory so that my truck doesn't go empty and just delivers to that one customer. Rather, it delivers to everyone in between. My truck goes full, I can optimize my cost, and still it reaches that man in Faridabad on time. All of this, the execution part of it, is the logistics manager's job. It makes sure that whatever material flow is going on, it is cost optimized as well as happening without bottlenecks and on time as well. So most of the logistics companies, FedEx, GTDC and all, will hire logistics managers. Some of the typical firms will also hire, but the salary in this kind of a role, usually if you're from a tier 2, tier 3 college, it goes up to 10 to 15 lakh kind of a salary you get. If you're from tier 3, maybe lower than that, 7 lakh, 8 lakh kind of salary. And these roles usually don't go to tier 1 colleges. In tier 1 colleges, it's the supply chain manager that basically does the job of logistics manager itself. Okay, they, in most of the firms, they don't even use it separately. They call it the same itself. The supply chain manager looks after the logistics work, entire logistics work as well, the execution part of it as well. After that comes the business consultants, the operations consultants specifically. And who hires them? The likes of McKinsey, Bain, BCG, Accenture, AT Kearney, any consulting firm. So their job is to hire people who are expert at operations and then outsource these people to those companies which have a quick fix to be done on any of their operational processes. For example, HUL might say that, okay, I will hire an external consultant who will come with this expertise and help me fix whatever gaps I have in my factory. Maybe I don't have enough employees, or maybe I want an external eyesight on my factory, or what all things can be improved. They will hire a consulting firm, and that consulting firm, that's why needs those operations consultant. So basically you are doing work for another firm, but you are part of a consulting company. After that comes the production or the plant managers, and who hires them? The any factory, anyone will hire it, like Maruti Suzuki, the one that I mentioned. This is where the production plant manager, this is the job that they do. Maruti Suzuki, Tata Steel, any big factory, you are responsible for managing the entire production, looking after the plant, making sure that whatever the workers are doing, that is efficient, they're not wasting time. At the same time, any bottlenecks that happen, you are responsible for solving it it on the floor. After that, quality manager, quality assurance manager, or you can say process excellence manager as well. Again, any factory, any plant, any manufacturing plant would need this kind of a person. So what you do is you make sure that everything that is being produced is of a significant quality, because if something of low quality goes out of your factory, then it has to be returned, and all those will involve multiple costs. So you have to make sure that your processes are so efficient that the first time that it is manufactured, there are as less defects as possible. This is also where the famous Six Sigma certifications and everything come into the picture. In quality and assurance manager, you make sure that your defects are as minimum as possible in the goods that you are being produced. So as far as the salaries were concerned, I did not mention about consulting specifically because it depends on the consulting firm. No matter you're an operations guy or a tech consultant, you will be paid the same amount in consulting firms. For example, McKinsey, Bain, BCG, they typically offer starting salary of say 35 lakhs. So it will be the same for all consultants, no matter whichever type of consulting you are doing. After that, for the production plant manager as well as for the quality assurance manager, tier 2, tier 3 institutions, you make it to these roles, around 10 lakh you will get. But yes, there are certain warehouse managers as well for Amazon, Flipkart. They have these plant, you can call them plant managers or warehouse managers. They also get very good kind of salary as well. 20 to 25 lakh is their fixed base. On top of that, there are some ESOP components. Just like product managers, there are ESOP components for operations guy as well. And if you combine everything, it goes in the range of 40 to 45 lakh. But there's a heavy stock component in such firms as well. The base salary is somewhere in the range of 20 to 25 lakh for the tier 1 institutions. Next is the business operations role, and this is a very broad role, very difficult to define, because in any company, no matter if it does not do any manufacturing, it might be just a service company, but still it follows a set of processes in every department, marketing, finance, every department, it follows a set of processes. To make sure that those set of processes are aligned, efficient, and being executed properly, you need business operations people. These are usually the kind of people who know end to end about the business, how the processes flow, how everything is happening within the company. They are probably the closest to some of the senior leaders or the CEOs, and they are basically watching the entire company's processes end to end. It's basically, you can say, they have a top angle view of everything that's happening inside that office. And the companies, you see, literally everyone can hire business operations people. The tech services firm like TCS, Infosys, they have processes to execute, and they hire business operations people. The startups, Zomato, urban companies, Razorpay, all of them hire business operations people. Some of them can call it very differently as well, maybe project managers, process managers, but many of these people also do the same kind of work that business operations guys are doing. So that's why literally any company that is executing a set of processes, any well-grown company will hire business operations people. And the kind of salary that you can get in this role again will depend on the scope of your responsibilities and will differ vastly from one company to the other. I cannot really say one specific range, but yes, if you ask say for urban company or say Razorpay, if you are hired from a tier 1 institution, they come to tier 1 institution, and typical salary will be 25 to 30 lakh starting salary. If you go there after 2-3 years, then probably it will be in the range of 40 to 50 lakhs. So yes, very good salary, but also it depends on the type of company. As I said, in some of the business operations role, you might get 5 to 6 lakh as well. So it's a very wide range, cannot be properly defined unless and until I go into each and every company and explain that. Now, how is AI going to impact you? See, AI is definitely automating a lot of things in the operations as well. It will automate a lot of things. However, it's not so easy to replace an operations guy. Yes, if you are doing the basic things like process compliance, scheduling, warehouse management, just the basic part of it, then you can be fired very easily. However, if you're into core operations, then you know the business end to end. So if you get fired, literally any function can get affected, and the companies will be very careful about it. Even if your job can be automated, even if your job can be done, however, they will still be worried about firing you because there can be edge cases, outlier events, and that is where the operation expertise come into the picture, and AI cannot handle these edge cases or the outlier events. For example, what happened, the Hormuz Strait is closed. Now how to manage your entire logistics operations guy, AI cannot do this. You need an operations guy to be doing this, to find out a workable solution. Who are the other kind of vendors you will switch to? From where you will get your material? Are there other vendors or suppliers who can pass the material to you from another company? Or what kind of stock do you have? All those edge cases has to be handled by a human being, or someone who has to feed that command and understand the process and feed that command to AI so that it provides some solution. AI can do the repetitive task, however, it cannot handle these edge cases. That's why no company will risk firing an operations guy who is completely into the process so easily. And second, most people get it wrong that AI is replacing humans and companies are firing people because they can do cost cutting with AI. However, no company actually wants to do cost cutting. Rather, they want to see increase in revenue. They always work on the revenue side of things. And that's why if they see the potential that, okay, if I work with AI, it has the potential to scale faster and at the same cost, it can bring me more revenue compared to human beings, it will work with AI. Cost side, the principle is don't fix unless it's broken, and all the other functions, whether it's marketing, finance, all of them work on the revenue side of things. So if companies see the potential that, okay, there is a potential that AI can scale faster, can bring me more revenue in future at the same cost or even lower cost, then I will replace it with AI. However, if it is just a matter of cost cutting, then I will see how much impact can it have if that particular person leaves and there's some edge case, outlier case, how much impact it can have. And operations is that one function that works on the cost side of things. And as I said, the principle is don't fix something unless it's broken as far as the cost side is concerned. And next, who should and who should not do operations? First of all, if you like maths, statistics, numbers, you are good with puzzles and everything, you can get into operations because 60-70% of your work will be on spreadsheets. You'll be working with a lot of data, making a lot of algorithms, working on them. And if you don't like statistics, maths, and all those number aspects, please stay away from operations. Next, if you like to build real things, like to take accountability, then operations is good for you. Otherwise, not, because whatever you do in operations role, that is immediately visible. If something doesn't get manufactured in the plant, it's a direct impact. If something doesn't get delivered to the customer on time, everyone can view it. However, this is not the same for, say, a role like consulting. If something goes wrong, there are so many people involved. You worked on the strategy side of things. A lot of things can go wrong on the execution side, so they are not directly involved. Marketing, if a product is not selling well, there can be so many problems. Maybe the product is not good. It's not only about the marketing aspect. Maybe sales didn't happen, maybe the logistics didn't happen on time. There are so many things that can happen in the process. To isolate just the marketing aspect of it is very difficult, and that's why for operations, the everyone working in operations have to take the accountability, and they are the first ones to go under the bus in case something goes wrong. Next, if you want the glamorous life, go to consulting, investment banking. Those kind of roles don't come for operations. Glamorous in the way that you are posting on social media about what you are working on. Operations, you'll be working on the boarding things, you'll be working on some of the back end things. If you want more customer facing roles, then operation is not for you. You will not be directly seen by the customers. The kind of things that you do, you will not really post on LinkedIn or on Instagram like the way consultants or investment bankers working on a specific deal will do. Okay, so if you want that kind of a glamorous customer facing role, then operations is not for you. Next, as I already said, if you want to make quick money, then operations is not the right place. Consulting, investment banking, you work a lot in the initial years, you earn like crazy. Operations is not the same. You work long term, you accumulate wealth over long term. So as I said, you don't earn quick money here. At the same time, your posting sometimes can be in plans. You cannot really dictate what kind of role you will get into. If you get into business operations in a startup or this, then it's a pure office role. But there, it can happen that you're in a supply chain or a logistics role and you go and work in the plants. It is a possibility. Okay, so the life again will be very different. So you have to take care of it. At the same time, the one advantage of operations is that you are taking care of the business end to end. So if you want to understand the business end to end, and maybe in future you want to launch your own startup or something, operations is definitely a good role for you. Finally, if you want to switch your domain, you want to switch your companies very fast, then again operations is not the right one, because lateral movement is slow in operations. A consultant guy can go to operations, finance can go to marketing very quickly. They switch industries very quickly, they switch companies. Operations guy usually do not do it, because you are being accustomed, you are being trained on a one particular company, on one particular set of processes, and you become an expert in that. Usually, yes, you can get movement across the same function in different companies, but the idea is that you become so important for a particular company, you keep growing there itself. When you switch to other companies, the kind of hike that you're getting, that will not be enough, that will satisfy that switch. And that's why most of the people try to stick with the same company and continue long term, where they actually get the benefit of it. And finally, some of the top colleges in India where you can pursue operations. Obviously, the top tier IIMs and everything, you can pursue it from there. But NITI, which is now known as IIM Mumbai, that is one of the best operations college. After that, the IITs, IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, all the IITs, they are also really good at operations. Yes, some of them have a criteria that only engineers can get in. But yes, if you are an engineer, you will get slight advantage in recruitment as well under operations role. That's why all the IITs as well, they do really well. And all the top tier any of the top tier IIMs or any top tier MBA college, the top 10, 15, you can see any of my videos where I've mentioned the top 10, 15 MBA colleges. You can get into any of them and you will really get great roles under operations. But apart from that, as I mentioned, IIM Mumbai, one of the top colleges, it's really, really good at operations. At the same time, all the IITs as well are really, really good. So that's it from my side for this particular video. See you in the next one.